Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. It is the last video for spoiler season because tomorrow the new set comes out. But we have our last champion to be spoiled for the spoiler season today, and as a lot of people guessed, it's AZIR, the third Ascended. As for whether I think AZIR is good or not, I think he's okay. He's solid, but he's not like a TF or an Aphelios. So let's go look at him, and let's go look at the other cards that have been spoiled with him. Why not? Alrighty. We got a lot of stuff here to unpack. First off, we got AZIR. AZIR is a 3 mana 1/5 Ascended. Remember, the Ascendeds are basically champions with a 3rd level that you level up by restoring the Sun Disc. Level 1 AZIR is as I said, a 1/5 for 3 mana. He says, when allies attack, summon an attacking Sand Soldier. Sand Soldiers, if you don't remember, are 1 mana 1/1s with Ephemeral that say Nexus Strike, deal 1 to the enemy Nexus. Not amazing, but there's some synergy with them. To level up AZIR, you have to summon 10 units. Little bit tough, but between AZIR himself and other cards, not that tough. He doesn't have to be on the field, so he doesn't have to see them, so that's good, so he can level up while in hand or in the deck, but I feel like you want to play AZIR on turn 3. The problem I'm seeing with AZIR before looking at his leveled up forms is Culling Strike. Outside of Culling Strike, he doesn't really do much. Like, he doesn't have regeneration, he doesn't have an invasive keyword. So I feel like even if you don't have Culling Strike, you can just chip him down if they ever try to attack in with AZIR. And you do kind of want to be attacking in with AZIR. Anyway, though, what does he do if he levels up? Well, when he levels up, he becomes a 2/6, and he still has his whole summon an attacking Sand Soldier, so that's nice. But now when you summon an ally, it gets +1, and AZIR gets +1/+0 as well for the round. Okay, a little bit better. Some kind of weird, I don't know, like tempo deck wants to play AZIR. Like maybe Zed. Zed plus AZIR can summon a lot of stuff because Zed summons his Living Shadow. AZIR summons the Sand Soldier, so you kind of really level up AZIR quickly, but then you're playing Zed, and Zed kind of sucks right now, in all honesty. So maybe the level 3 form of AZIR does something. What's the level 3 form of AZIR do? 3 mana, 6/6. Okay, he's got a real stat line now. Scary stat line, too. When I level up, replace your deck with the Emperor's deck, then draw 1. Also, when allies attack, now you get a Sandstone Charger instead of a Sand Soldier. If I remember correctly, Sandstone Chargers are the 5/2s with Ephemeral. We don't exactly know what the Emperor's deck is unless it's been stated since I've uploaded this video. But a lot of people are assuming that a lot of these cards that you can see on this page that don't have rarity gems at the bottom, basically a lot of the broken cards in the latter half of this list, are at least part of, if not the entire Emperor's deck. We don't know if the Emperor's deck is like a 40 card deck, a 20 card deck, whatever. We don't know if the Emperor's deck is only non-collectible cards, or there's going to be some collectible cards in it, or what. We don't really know enough. But it seems like if it is these non-collectible cards on this page, then it seems pretty good. In my opinion, AZIR is a weird card. I feel like, me personally, I would only want to play AZIR because I would want to get him to level 3, but I feel like you would also, if you care about playing AZIR and you want to play 3 AZIRs in your deck, maybe you're playing a more tempo-y deck that doesn't care about Sun Disc because you'd rather play a turn 1 unit instead of a turn 1 Sun Disc, so whatever. I'm not sure. I also have no idea about like what kind of deck I want to build Sun Disc with. I think I might even want to build a deck that has all 3 Ascended. Maybe like 3 Renekton's, 2 Nasus, 1 AZIR? Something like that? But maybe that's not good. I don't know. I don't know. I just think like Sun Disc archetype is missing just a little too much because it has to be, well, It doesn't have to be, but you most likely want to be mono Shurima so you can draw it in your opening hand. And I just don't think there are enough good cards. So I feel like Shurima. I feel like AZIR is a good, solid champion for an archetype, which is like some weird ephemeral tempo-y thing, like something with Zed maybe. The problem is, I don't think that archetype is good, and it's not consistent enough, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe Azir will be great. I'm going to try him out. He seems fun, but meh. Not sure the archetype he fits into is good at the moment. The next card, Azir's Arise, his champion spell. I think this is bad, but I do think it is a little bit better than it looks. 3 mana, burst speed spell, summon a Sand Soldier. Okay. Create a fleeting Arise in hand. Okay. I mean, the reason that's like really overcosted. What, a 3 mana to get a 1/1 ephemeral? That sure, if it Nexus Strikes deals 1 to the Nexus, that's still way too overcosted. Like, the only reason I think it's a little bit better than it looks at first is because you can create these at burst speed, so you can sort of use it as surprise blockers. Now, the problem is, and I guess you could also use it as surprise attackers if you want to open attack. The problem is, you're kind of using a lot of mana to just not take damage. You're not really developing the board. You're not really working towards a game plan. Sure, I guess if you are playing Azir himself, you're working towards leveling up an Azir. And if you have Sand Soldier synergy, that gets a little bit better, but I just don't think it's good enough. I think it's way too overcosted. I don't think control decks want it for burst speed blockers. I don't think aggro or tempo decks want it because it's just overcosted, and aggro and tempo decks don't want to play overcosted stuff. They want to be very mana efficient early, so I'm not a big fan of this. And I think this will only be played as Azir's champion spell, and that's it. Not the worst champion spell, though. There are champions, in my opinion, that have worse champion spells, but this one kind of sucks. Now, for the next card, the card that's got a lot of people talking, Rite of Negation. As some people like to say, better deny. It's not. I would say it's not better deny. It's a side grade. It's not a strict upgrade. It's only a side grade. Rite of Negation, 4 mana, fast spell. Kill an ally or destroy one of your mana gems to stop all enemies' fast spells, slow spells, and skills. That's pretty good. Sure, the reason why it's not as good as Deny, or sorry, not as good, but not strictly better than Deny, is you have to do something to play this. Sure, you can say, like, why would just always destroy a mana gem? Yeah, in the late game, sure, but what if you want to use this in the early game, which sometimes you do. Sometimes around like turn 5, turn 6, you want to use this, and that is around the time you need to be really mana efficient, and you want to use as much mana as possible, and you don't really want to be destroying mana gems. So, in other words, you can be like, oh, I'll just kill something small, like a Sand Soldier. The problem with that is if your opponent kills whatever you're trying to kill, your Rite of Negation will basically, in essence, get countered. It will fizzle, similar to Crumble, if you will. Still, though, I think this card is really good. I think outside of, obviously, the non-collectible cards, out of all the real cards here, I think it's the best card here. Better than Azir, in all honesty. Now, the upside, though, because you have to destroy a mana gem or kill an ally, is kind of actually meaningful, right? Destroying a mana gem in the late game isn't a big problem. And the late game's usually when deny and counter spells in general shine, because then you get to start countering big haymakers like harrowings, ruinations, supernovas, etc., etc. And also, the whole something that people don't, not everyone and not that many people, but something some people don't realize is this counters all of your opponent's stuff on the stack, not just one thing like deny does. So, I mean, that's pretty good, right? And sure, like, you would try to force out your opponent to play multiple spells on the stack in response to, like, an attack or something. And then you play Rite of Negation and completely destroy them and maybe get, like, a 3-for-1 with your deny. Well, Rite of Negation. and make your opponent concede because you got so much value off of it. And while it's not popular, Karma gets hard countered by this card, sort of. And also, if your opponent is bad, you can use this to counter all of TF's cards in one turn. The problem with that and the Karma one is your opponent will still have the TF and the Karma anyway. So in those situations, not amazing, but it's still really good. And I think, like, I don't know how many of these you want to play in your deck. At least 2, maybe 3. I don't know if you want to play this in a more aggressive deck like you used to with Deny and Elusives back when Deny was 3 mana. Still though, card's nuts. Also the fact that it is a counter spell outside of Ionia is huge. Ionia is, for the longest time, has just been known as the Deny region, with Deny being their most played card, I think, for months and months and months. Shows how strong that kind of effect is, and now Shurima has it. And unlike Ionia, who has not that many great cards, they have a handful of okay cards like Lee Sin, Shen, etc., etc. Shurima seems to have a lot of good cards. So, yeah, scary card. I know I said this is not a strict upgrade to Deny, but it still isn't. But I'd say like a majority of the time, it kind of is. Like, I'd say like 70% of the time it's better than Deny. Because again, like I said, most of the time you don't want to have Deny too early. You want to wait to Deny in the late game. Unless you're against like a, I don't know, a go hard deck and you really want to counter their go hards in the early game and you don't have Nopify. That's it. Anyway, though, enough rambling about this card that I'm going to cry about when I have it played against me. What's the next card? Emperor's Divide. I think this card is bad. 7 mana slow spell. It needs to do something big if it's going to be a slow spell for that much mana. Give enemies vulnerable this round. Okay, only for the round, so it's temporary, so better do something else good. Summon 6 Sand Soldiers. That's it. That's not great. Again, top right, Sand Soldier is a 1 mana 1/1. Sure, there is synergies to buff the Sand Soldiers, and this kind of just almost instantly levels an AZIR. Like, more than halfway levels up an AZIR, but I don't think this card's good. I guess, like, if you have a leveled up AZIR, level 2 AZIR, and you play this, that's kind of cute. But the issue is, like, I feel like this is a card that's going to be in a weird spot. Like, you're going to want to have, when you give things vulnerable, you want to have big things on the field to use to kill the vulnerable things. And 1/1s, 1 mana 1/1s with Ephemeral are kind of going to struggle to do anything impressive. And you need some big synergies for the Sand Soldiers. And even then, if you have a lot of synergies for the Sand Soldiers, I think this card is still a little just weak. It's too expensive. And if you play this and your board is empty, that means you're already in a bad position. And unlike a Ruination, this is most likely not going to kill your enemy's board. So, yeah, I am not a fan of this. Just too weak, in my opinion. Too expensive and too weak. Next up. Yes, we have all the non-collectible cards that people are theorizing are going in the Emperor's deck, because we don't know how these are created, but we're assuming they go in the Emperor's deck, unless they've confirmed it, and I just don't know. I'm not going to talk about these too much because there's not much to discuss with them. They're all just really, really good. First off is 2 mana burst speed spell, draw 2. I mean, do I really have to tell you why that's good? You're drawing 2 at 2 mana for burst speed. It's crazy good. Next one, Emperor's Guard. 2 mana 5/4 fearsome. Okay, huge stat line. Pretty decent keyword. And when you summon it, draw 1. Again, crazy. And then the next card, Shimmering Mirage. 3 mana, shimmering or burst spell, or speed spell. Summon an exact copy of an ally. It's ephemeral, draw 1. That's kind of nuts. You're gonna summon a unit at burst speed and draw a card and then you don't even have to pass priority. So it lets you get a bigger board if you want to attack in or defend. If you're on defense and your opponent is open attacking, you can use Shimmering Mirage to get another blocker if you have blockers. And it draws 1. Like I said earlier, these cards are all great. I don't think there's too much to discuss about them. Next card, 4 mana, Crumbling Sands, fast speed, obliterate an enemy follower, draw 1. Doesn't hit champs, but it's a 4 mana kill a unit, draw 1. That's crazy. And it's fast speed too. I mean, like, do I need to say more? It replaces itself, kills a problematic follower, sure can't hit champions, and it obliterates them in case they have like last breath or last word or whatever it's called. So, pretty good. Next up, Golden Herald. 5 mana 6/6. Okay, pretty good stat line. Play and round start, summon 2 Sand Soldiers and grant them +2/+2. Okay, now that's like some Sand Soldier synergy, but not really synergy, I guess. But a 5 mana 6/6 that says like when you play it, you get 2 3/3s. Sure, they're ephemeral, and then at the start of every round, you get another 2 3/3s. Good fodder for just suicide attacking, good fodder for just doing chump blocks. Pretty decent unit. Doesn't replace itself, doesn't draw a card like the other cards, but still pretty good. Next card, General's Palace. 5 mana landmark, enemies are vulnerable, round start rally. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. Sure, I'm gonna say this, and this might be weird to hear, but this might actually be the weakest of the Emperor's deck cards. I know I'm saying Emperor's deck cards, and it's not confirmed whether these are, but I feel like they are pretty much all but guaranteed. But like, yeah, doesn't replace itself. It's slow, but it's got a big effect. Rallying at the start of every turn is huge. The enemies being vulnerable pretty much as long as this thing is on the field is insane. So you can get good trades. Good card. Next up, big boy here. 7 mana 10/7 with Barrier. Also, I believe this is the first Barrier card outside of Demacia and Ionia. Unless I'm wrong, and I can't think of a Barrier card that's in maybe, I don't know, like Noxus, but I don't think Barrier is outside of Demacia and Ionia until now. This card says, when I'm summoned, draw 1. Okay, it replaces itself like a lot of the other cards. Round end. The strongest enemy and I strike each other. It's pretty good. Unless your opponent has like a ping or something. This is most likely killing their strongest unit. Even if they have a ping, their strongest unit might not be big enough to trade with the Gladiator. Decent card. Next up, it's pretty much Ruination. Almost, but slightly better. Sandstorm. 9 mana slow spell. Obliterate 3 enemy units or landmarks. Sure, it's not a full board wipe, but unlike Ruination, 1, it obliterates, and 2, it hits landmarks. Kind of crazy good. If you have to Ruination like a 6-card board, 6-unit, 5-unit even board, you're probably in a bad spot already, or your opponent is bad and they played into Ruination so hard, you just crush them with that. I kind of wish this card was in the regular game so I could collect it and put it in my deck, because I like Sandstorm. And the last card, this is pretty much just a card here that I look at and I'm like, how have you not won the game? Play me just to end this game now kind of card. Ascendant's Call, 10 mana, slow spell, rally on top of all this other stuff. Summon a Renekton and a Nasus, immediately level them up to level 3. That's crazy. Like, Renekton leveling up is huge, and then Nasus with Fearsome, and then his whole -3 thing, I think, is what he does. -3, -0 when he's level 3 is crazy good. And then you rally, so you get the Renekton attack anyway. Did I say Nasus gave -3, -0? I hope so, because that's correct. So yeah, again, I kind of like sped through all those cards, but again, like I said, they're all kind of really good, and they're not even collectible, so there's not really too much of a point in taking them apart. So, that is AZIR and all the cards. So, pretty good cards, I'd say. AZIR seems interesting. Grind of Negation is kind of nuts, and Emperor's deck looks really fun. No idea how viable it's going to be, but the cards, if these cards down here are all cards in Emperor's deck, the deck seems really good. just gonna need to know more about what the Emperor's deck is. Maybe it's randomized. Maybe you get like a random amount of these cards and it's not a strict, concrete list. Anyway, though, that's gonna be it. Tomorrow, by the time this video goes up, the set will be out. So no more spoilers. No more spoiler discussion until the next spoiler season starts. But yeah. I've been liking the spoiler season. I've liked a lot of the cards. I'm a little sad Ionia only got 2 cards, but that's how spoilers work. There's always a couple of regions that only get 2 cards and no champion. I believe Bilgewater and PNZ are the other regions that didn't get a new champion as well and only got 2 cards as well. But still, I like Ionia and it makes me sad. I mean, looking at Rite of Negation also makes me sad when I look at my Deny, because now I'm no longer special and have Deny. Whatever. Anyway, though, like I said, that's going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear some ideas you guys have for AZIR, because in all honesty, I don't know how to build him. I can only think of like some weird AZIR Zed field musicians deck. And that honestly sounds kind of bad. Maybe I kind of really want to try and build a Mono Shurima with at least one AZIR in it, because I want to play the Emperor's deck. But anyway, though, like I said, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I'd love it if you could leave a like or a comment down below. It always helps me out and all that stuff. And if you guys want to keep up with the content, the Runeterra content, you can always subscribe to the channel to keep up with it. And if you guys want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, I'm going to be playing a lot of it when the set comes out anyway. You can always go and check me out on my Twitch account over at twitch.tv/Zenaton. I stream there pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.